Hello, I'm Brandon, and I'm here today bringing you a look at Breaker, a solo role-playing game. Like pretty much everything on my channel, I'm showing you things that I'm working on. Breaker was probably my second game I put up, and so it's long overdue for some refresh. Last few days my computer crashed and I found some files, and I thought I'd do a little bit of work on it. It's reformatted. There's a few rules that have changed, but ultimately it's still the same game. The art's a little different. Not a big deal. And once again, we're in Foundry Virtual Tabletop because I find it really easy to have everything in one place. So today we're just going to start walking through how to make a character for Breaker, and if we have time, we'll play some. Breaker is a game about, well, it depends on what you want it to be about, but ultimately it's about how motivation is more important than anything else, and your emotions heavily affect how you interact with the environment. It was designed without a setting in mind. I have released a couple like little setting booklets, which I also need to revisit just in case they have some rules that are a little wonky in them. But as you can tell from the artwork, it's really about struggle. I mean, I originally designed it to be a revenge game, but in the process I took away a lot of that stuff. And then later on in its development, it inherited a little bit of Ironsworn from Sean Tompkin. Not too much. It was already there most of the way. I think it was just what type dice you roll changed. It wasn't a big deal, but I like to give acknowledgments where acknowledgments are due. Anyways, so the first step in playing a game of Breaker is to decide what type setting you're going to be in. The game does not come with a bunch of oracles to help you set this up. I like those. I like games with lots of oracles, but this one doesn't have them. It's really just a basic rule system to throw into any setting you want. So I always recommend you come up with a setting you know, or start with something so thin that you can just develop it as you want. When I play Breaker, I love to play it in a, I guess, Star Wars ripoff type of setting. I like to start there. Breaker has a lot of emotional shifting, and the occult training in it is very reminiscent of how I like to picture the Force working. So I like to start there, and I think for this setting I'm going to start with Star Wars feudal-ish type of thing. I like the idea of playing, pseudo Jedi in a world that's more medieval but high tech, which fits in the Star Wars universe anyway. So we're just going to start with that. Like everything, when you're doing solo, you can change it as you will. So the first thing besides that is to figure out what your goal will be. Now, when you start a character creation with a goal, you're not really thinking like, oh, I want to find Josephine and rescue her from the Krumnots. You're not thinking that type of goal. You're thinking, what type of story do I want to tell to start out telling? Is it a revenge story? Is it a love story? Is it a hero story? It's that type of goal at the beginning, not any more detailed. That can be harder than figuring out what setting you want to play in. I mean, you can be like, look at your shelf of books and be like, oh, I want to play in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or because it's right here next to me. Or I'm a big Vampire the Masquerade fan. Oh, sure, I want to play Vampire Masquerade. I can think of settings like that. But it's the first goal that's harder. And so in the rules, I have a little story archetype thing. I might as well go ahead and roll it. I roll 3 times. All right, 1, 2, 3. Seven, 10, and 4. I gotta ignore the 10. 2. Rags to riches. Voyage and return. Okay, so you are nothing, but something is giving you the chance to be exceptional and prove your worth. Rebirth, you are not who you want to be, but will struggle to change and be reborn. And voyage and return, you travel to outside your known world to a strange place, but you need to return from that strange place. All right. So if we're going for this like kind of Star Warsy theme, it's very much the hero's journey, right? The character is, and I really want to lean into the occult in this game. So I'm going to say that the character has developed this power and they don't understand it. And they have to travel across the world to figure out how to use it. And then something is happening at their house or at their home or their village that that they have to return and use it to help. It's, something. So my goal is something like find out who I am or what I am. I guess what I am. Find out what I am and return home to save my family. That would be a good starting goal for this character. I might break that into 2 goals later. I'm not sure yet. Alright, so the next thing I worry about are backgrounds. Backgrounds are 2 general statements or words about your character that really help define where they came from. In other games, this might be like a hobby and a career, or a species in a class, or an archetype or something like that. Remember, the game says that if it helps you, or you think you're going to play the world again, just make a background type, like species and class, and go from there. I don't think this game's going to need me to break that down. So I think I'm going to just put farmer, maybe. I kind of picture these. So an old breaker game of mine had a world where there were lots of mechanical creatures that nobody can make anymore. And I kind of like this idea of them being there. Like, they're kind of like droids, but they're more of like animals who just happen to be metal. I kind of like this idea of being a mecha fanatic. Yeah. Farmer mecha fanatic. There you go. Backgrounds. That's it. So I've just developed the world based on something I played before, so it's kind of cheating, but whatever. I'm hurrying. So yeah, on the farm they must have like a mega horse or something like that, and this character's obsessed with it. Obsessed with all the mecha that might be around. And I'm not picturing these as being like mecha like blocky. I'm picturing them being elegant and well designed, and maybe like thin strips of metal with like a glow inside, and hyper intelligent but still animalistic. So like a mecha horse is fierce and independent and understanding and knows what you're saying, that type of thing. Yeah, so backgrounds can be used to reroll if they come up in play, even tangentially. So like in the rules I use the strangling someone with a garden hose would allow you to use a gardener background to do a reroll. So you get these rerolls once between respites, which are long rest, and that's what the box here is for. That's it. Motivations, however, are another thing that is key to the game. Motivation, whenever you make a roll, you have to spend a motivation point. And when you're out of motivation points, you are too tired. You either have to suffer the consequence of what happens because of that, or you have to find a time to rest. So motivation is super important. And motivations are the things that keep the character moving. So this character is moving away from their family, away from their home, because there's something bad going on, and they found that they are the first person in their generation to have this power, so they're moving away from it. So motivations are things that fuel those goals, not the goals themselves. A character starts with 6 motivation points. They can put them like 6 motivations with 1 point each. They can put 1 motivation with 6 points. I always like to go around the middle, like 3. If you can't figure out what they are, there's this little chart here that says, is it a memory of a good day, a memory of a bad day, expectations from duty. So my motivation are my family expects me to return home with answers. That's an expectation from duty, right? My motivation is also the smiles of my loved ones. And then, what else? See? The hope that I am the answer to magic returning. Why not, right? There's hope in me. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 in each of these and be done with that for now. So I have 6 motivations to start, and it's tied into that. All right. Yeah, I think they're just kind of equal. All of them are kind of equal. I'm not going to divide them up, more or less. Now, the next 3 things, emotions, methods, and boons, are things that provide the character confidence. So how the game works is you build confidence by adding these 3 things together to form a confidence number, and then you pay your motivation to roll the dice against it. And how the dice lay tell you what happens. So the first one is emotions. And there's light emotions and dark emotions, and this isn't referring to good or bad, it's just, how they feel in your soul. So happy, hope, and love, and anger, fear, and sorrow. And they're divided into, and the dice that you roll, there's a light dice and a dark die. So the light die corresponds to the light emotions, and the dark die corresponds to the dark emotions. Though, since you want to roll low in the game, the low die will dictate how you're feeling at the time. So really, how you want to do this is like the one that you want to have the most confidence in, the one you want to role play the most, you put a 3 in it. The one you want to role play the least, you put a 1 in, and the other one has a 2. So it's 1, 2, 3 on both the light and the dark. I think this person's going to be happy, not happy. Hope, love, happy. I think they don't display happiness very well, but they're always hopeful. And, something bad is happening. I think there'd be sorrow, anger, and fear. They haven't really had to face a lot of fear yet, but there's something weighing on them where they've had to face a lot of loss of life, or sorrow, or something. Maybe it has to do with like some bad people taking over the village where they lived. Methods are the next step. They give you confidence too. The game does not come with a preset list of methods. It's based on the setting you have decided to go with. I give you 2 examples here, but that's all they are. They're examples. If you're playing a setting you love already, like you just pull the book out and use that, those as skills. But methods are a little bit more than skills. They're like skill, innate ability, creativity, and a drive. They can be used broader than just like a skill in a normal game. I think I'm going to just go with this set here, this really magic kind of weird thing. I think I'm going to give this culture a little bit more mysticism than like you'd find in the Star Wars universe. So since it's not the Star Wars universe, I'm just using that as a cultural shorthand. But the place where the character comes from, they watch the stars, and so I think the creator and the defender and the diplomat are all star signs and constellations, and not necessarily deities. I almost want them to be ancestor worshippers, and so they worship their genetics and the people who have passed down their traits to them. But they also give respect to these greater concepts that are the creator, the defender, the diplomat, the diviner, the lore keeper, the naturalist, the Rispskillion, and the Thaumaturge. That opens a can of worms, the Thaumaturge does, because how a cult works in the game is that it gives you extra confidence. You can just add it to the roll. And so the Thaumaturge gives you confidence too. In a sense, the more training you have in the Thaumaturge, the more you can do magic without fear of hurting yourself. Occult training can be used before or after a roll. So the Thaumaturge would be somebody who studies and is confident in their ability to do magic, where occult training is I can break the rules of reality more. I can do it randomly. I can do it before or after. I can see success and failure and modify it as I go. That type of thing. The occultists can also draw power from the universe around them as much as they want, where a thaumaturge, somebody in thaumaturgy skill might not be able to do that. Which also brings me to the point where I think maybe there are thaumaturgists, especially amongst the darker people who are trying to take over the dark side. And they can do magic, but they've lost the ability to create new or innovate magic. And that's the difference. So they can use mecha, which probably take magic to use, but they don't know how to predict the future and act in a way like this character is going to try to learn to do. So they're not going to get any thaumaturge to start because they haven't been trained. And I bet you the Empire or whatever it is has stomped out everybody who would work against them that might want to be trained. So you gain points to put in your methods equal to the number of methods. So there's 8 here, so I get 8 points. He's a farmer. He or she, I don't know. Farmer. The defender. I bet you everybody needs to learn how to defend themselves out in the wilds. That diviner part there throws me off too. It really shows that this is, if I add that in, it would show that the world also has maybe it's if it's an ancestor worshiper culture, maybe it's contacting their ancestors for advice. Yeah, we'll keep it. Alright, so I'm putting 1 in each of those. The Rapscallion, I'm putting more sneaking around, teenager nonsense. The Naturalist, because I think he's coming from a farm. So I'm going to put 2 for the farm, 2 for defender, 2 for naturalist. I'm going to put 3. It's either 3 in naturalist or 2 in raps. Gillian. I guess I probably need the diplomat too, actually. Just because I need to be able to talk to people. Alright, that works. So, the next are boons that you have. 1, well, occult training starts at 1 if you're going to have it. And then boons are tangible objects, favors the character is owed, or companions they travel with, or allies they can call on, or pretty much anything that would help give them more confidence. I'm going to go ahead and take this mecha horse. And this is very much like a game I played in the past. I'm just, wanting to show you how to do it. We're going to call the horse Anna. I think maybe the mecha react to people who have the natural magical energies flowing through them. And I think maybe Anna the horse had been like a statue on my parents' farm. And I woke her up by touching her. Yeah. I think that's great. I think I want a laser sword of some sort, an energy sword. So I think that when that happened, my parents revealed to me, or my ancestors, we're ancestor worshippers. My ancestors came to me in a dream and revealed to me where their sword is from their family. And where to go, maybe. Yep. Ancestral energy blade. I don't know what those look like yet, but we're gonna go there. Traveling cloak. Traveling tools, let's put it that way. What else should I have on me that is useful? A map. Different than traveling tools. Traveling tools would probably help me survive like hard weather and things like that. The map would help me find where I'm going. And then binoculars. Why not, right? Or do I want a gun? A rifle. I'll take a rifle too. Okay. I like a slug rifle, like an actual bullet rifle. Because I picture this world kind of falling backwards, like whatever the Empire-ish type of thing is, it's sucking all the tech to it and leaving all the people in the other villages, like in the Dark Ages. Like it's sucking all the knowledge and power and just leaving everybody else to just farm for them. And I also think that maybe whoever the Thaumaturges, the people who created magic, they maybe were great and powerful one time and they failed to the Empire. No, they don't fail. They fell before the Empire. It's the vacuum that their self-imploded destruction did that allowed the Empire to rise. So the Empire didn't kill them. So, all right, we got that. And now we're going to go back to the goals. You know, I'm going to divide these up and save them from the darkness. And then find the... why won't it delete? And then I'm going to find the ancient house of Thaumaturge. Find the ancient house of Thaumaturgy to find out what I am. Alright, so this one is going to start at 0. So, and this one is going to start... I kind of want to get this one done as quick as I can, but I'm still going to just put it at 3. It seems pretty hard. So, goals start at a level that you feel you can comfortably and logically get to. So, a 3 means that I have to gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 more in order to find it. Control points. You gain control points to get closer to your goals as you play. And a 3 means I need 7 more, which is still going to take me a little bit. Unless I just don't learn anything on my trip, I just go straight there and don't stop. I could probably get there quicker. But it'll still take a while. And then 0 means I have to get all 10. You can actually have negative goals too. And goals can have pressure that really complicate them too. So this is so much like Luke Skywalker, it's ridiculous. So, well, might as well just call it, we'll make it a girl. Luna. Let's call it Luna for now. Luna is a 16-year-old woman who has awakened with the power of her Thaumaturge ancestors. I almost picture her like very tanned from field work. So physically fit. Fit from field work. Sun bleached hair and blue eyes. Why not? Yeah, we'll go with that. Luna. Yeah, I can live with that. She starts with 0 doubt, 0 clarity, and 0 dissonance. Your experience trackers. Once you get your 7th point, you gain or lose something. I think for dissonance, I'm going to go with the option for getting the 7th dissonance to reroute my motivations and make me more evil. So a lot of times dissonance will delete your motivations, but I think it's going to reassign points where I can only use those motivations when I do something really like shit-sucking evil, like murder or betray. So dissonance is going to be a really psychic break, and it's going to be really easy for her because how occult training works is that I can summon as much confidence as I want from it. I can just fuel the magic through me, but for every point I do above this 1 that I can spin like a pool, every time I do it, it raises my dissonance. And once I get to 7, bad things happen. So we'll see how that goes. And that's all it takes to make a character for Breaker. And I know I was really fast, and I kind of based it off of something I'd done before in order to make it fast. And so for people who have choice paralysis, or in this case a lack of choice paralysis, because there's no choices, it's just wide open, the game might be hard to start. But if you just use something you know, it's not. That was character creation, and next time I'll sit down and I'll show you how the dice work and how they interact with the character sheet, and we'll go and try to find this ancient house of Thaumaturge and see if we can cut some people down with an energy sword. I'll talk to you later. See ya.